Good afternoon, Grunts. Got a couple topics I want to talk to you about today. And I'm currently reading a book called The Boy Crisis, written by Dr. Warren Farrell. And that book, and I usually don't do a book recommendation until after I've read the book in its entirety, but I'm about 40% of the way into the book, and I feel like it's a book that is worth recommending now, especially if you're a guy that's just entering into the red pill space, uh, gone through divorce, wanting to learn more about what's happening, with family court and how your sons are going to fare during divorce and even after divorce and well into their rest of their life. And so this book really talks about the different societal issues that are facing boys today and will continue to conflict with them until something changes. And I'm remembering one of the statements I read in that book, and it kind of goes along with if anyone's ever familiar with The Rational Male, Rollo Tomassi. He's got at least four, if not five books. I know I've read three of them. But a statement that really sticks out to me is that men should control the birth. Because if you don't control the birth, it will eventually control you. And what does that mean? In a nutshell, that means if, as a man, if you don't take responsibility during sex, okay, you wear protection, wear a condom. Because guys, you are ultimately responsible for the birth. Okay. Um, the reality is, and whether you guys know it or not, is that women know 100% certain that that child that they carry is theirs. But as a man, you don't know the certainty. We actually have a low doubt, a low certainty of if that child's ours or not. And so, um, and besides that, if you uh, raw dog your girl and you dump your seed into her, you are now on the hook for child support. And in a lot of states, that's depending on the state you live in, that could be either 18 years, 19 years, or could include college. So you might, if you're a guy, and I don't know I live in Nebraska, so I know the child support lasts until the child turns 19, and child support automatically drops off. Ask me how I know. I know. I've got two sons. One dropped off. Oh God, the oldest one turns 21 here a few weeks. So almost 2 years ago, the oldest one dropped off child support, and I'm still got a 17-year-old that I'm still paying child support on for the next. I think I'm down to, well, 15 payments. So 15 months I have left. But anyway, um, you must be in control of the birth because once you have sexual intercourse and you blow your load inside of her, you could now be on the hook for night up to, like I said, I'm just gonna say either 18, 19, or maybe up to 22, 23, whenever your kid gets out of college, if they choose to go to college. And so, but that statement reminds me of something Rollo Tomassi. It's one of his iron rules, and it says, and I've got it pulled up here from the Rational Mail. Iron rule number five, or iron rule of Tomassi number five: never allow a woman to be in control of the birth. What is that? Again, what does that mean? Well, essentially, it means if you ask her, and like I said, I've been known to do this up and I'm south of 50, and I'm still, I don't have a vasectomy. So when I meet women and I enter into um, sexual intimacy with them, I'm always asking, do I need a condom? Are you on birth control? Have you had a hysterectomy? Um, and I have condoms and I do use condoms because I know I am responsible for that birth control. Women can lie. Women can say, "Oh yeah, I've had a hysterectomy," or "No, I've got my tubes tied," or or "I've got an IUD," or because when you understand something, guys, women have multiple types of birth control, and that can range from a simple birth control pill, a depot shot, a device implanted in their inside their bicep, don't know what that device is, but it's birth control. They have you have the hysterectomies. They can have their tubes tied. They can have a vaginal inserted IUD, intrauterine device, I guess. So they got all these forms of birth control, but yet as a man, you don't truly know. Because the one thing I teach you guys on my platform is you don't believe what a woman says. You believe what she does, how she behaves, how she conducts herself. That's what you believe. You don't sit there, oh, well, I had a hysterectomy 5 years ago. Well, if you know, guys, a lot of surgical procedures are minimally invasive now. Um, Case in point, I've had a bilateral hernia repair. Oh, was that 2019? So yeah, about 6 years ago, I had a bilateral hernia repair, and I was able to do that, have that done laparoscopically, which I have uh, three. One of them you can still see, but two of them are barely visible. I mean, you'd really have to be looking to see my laparoscopic scars. And that's saying women, they can have their um, hysterectomies done laparoscopically, which is, and I've seen on a few women I've dated that they actually have two scars, two little tiny scars. I mean, I mean, they're there, but you'd have to look to see them. But yeah, they got woman can easily tell you, well, yeah, I've had a hysterectomy. And yet, if you're not looking for the scars or anything, you truly don't know. She's just giving you her word, oh, yeah, I've had a hysterectomy. And then you go in there and you raw dog and you bust your nuts in there, you dump your seed in her, and all of a sudden, I don't know, 2, 3 months later, oh, I'm pregnant. Well, I thought you said you told me you had a hysterectomy. Oops. Oopsie, I lied. And now you're fucked for the next 18, 19 years. So, like Rolo says, always have protection. And he also goes on to say, I've had far too many guys hit me with the argument that they implicitly trust their girlfriends to be on the pill or whatever, and that she doesn't want kids. Only to be unprepared, daddy, 9 months later after the accident. The only accident they was the only accident they had was not being in control of the birth. That's right. Men, again, you have to be in control of the birth. And it even goes down, and I'll briefly touch on this. Um, he says, goes on to say, flush it. He talks, and I remember this story. I think I've seen this on the news before, where um, in 2002, the NBA issued a highly controversial and publicized warning to professional basketball players, stating that players be advised to wear condoms when having sexual intercourse with women and when on road games, and to flush the condom down the toilet in order to dispose of the semen. I that's also good as long as you're standing there, you flush that toilet and you make sure that condom goes down the drain, goes down the toilet, it's flushed. It doesn't sometimes the things can come back up and into the toilet, and there might be enough semen in there to impregnate her. She could reach back in there, but you make sure that condom is properly flushed and it is gone. And I've also told guys too, I says, when you wear your condom, if you pack it in, you pack it out. Meaning, if you brought that condom into her bedroom, your bedroom, or hotel, or some rendezvous place, you packed it in, you take it out. Meaning, yeah, you're gonna take that dirty condom. And guys, you're gonna wash your clothes anyway. Just tie it off or something and stick it in your pocket or stick it down your sock, but take it out of the area with you. Don't leave your seed unattended in a space that she will occupy when you leave for the night. So I'm also telling guys, take it out with you. If you packed it in, pack it out. It's no different like garbage. If you pack something in, take the trash out with you when you leave. Protect your seed at all costs, guys. This is a no joke deal. Too many guys have been surprised with the oops and prayers after being told that, oh, I'm on birth control or I had an IUD inserted or, because women will use some kind of bullshit to extract resources and money from men when they have their children. So keep that in mind, guys. Um, it's a serious topic. It's one that we cannot talk about enough. A lot of young men, like I said, I've got two sons, 20 and 17. They're the age where their testosterone is at their highest and they're into the point where they're really into the girls and being sexually active. It's like it's important that you young men, even guys my age. I mean, like I said, I keep condoms. I'm 48 years old. I keep condoms in my home here. I don't go without them. So, but that's one topic I want to talk about. Another one that's the main topic today is, and then I disappeared, I think, maybe not. Oh, here we go. Um, myself over here. This is also another good topic. Why do I keep? Okay. Seems to me I'm not gonna be able to scroll without disappearing. Let me see if I can just share the screen. Do do do. Here I am. I'm a boomer. Da, 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 da. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know if this is right. Well, I'm just gonna. Oh, no, but then I'm gone again. I'm up. He sees me. I'm gone. Okay. I want to talk about son husbands as well. Are you a son husband, and how do you know? Let's talk about a little bit about son husbands. Um, as you're all well aware, I have two sons, 20 and 17. When my wife and I got divorced back in 2020, we were married 19 and a half years. And I work out of town. And so every time I would leave, I would tell my oldest son, "Hey, you're in charge, you know, till I get back." And but I would never groom my kids to be son husbands in any way, shape, or form. But I've always find myself, hey, hey son, you're in charge till I get back. Whether or not what happened when I was gone, I don't know. Was he running the house? Was he the man of the house? I have no I have no idea. But son husband is a phenomenon we see in. I also learned it's also happens in immigrant families too. When fathers are they work overseas, they work jobs and across the pond or whatever, and so the oldest son is usually left in charge of the home while dad's away. But son husband also falls in the line of the single mom household. So if you're divorced, if you're a divorced dad, and you have, let's say you don't have 50-50 custody, like you got my custody arrangement, you get like every other weekend, and yet your kids don't your your kids don't come down here on their weekend because they're old enough and then they can make those decisions and they'd rather hang out with mom than to go see dad. One reason for that, I believe, is the son husband syndrome that's created in single mom households. Um, I found an article here, and it's really a website. It's called singlemomdefined.com. And the article is called Mom, Stop Treating Your Son Like Your Husband. And God, I really want to try to share this screen, so I may have to go. Let me do this. More. Gosh, two. Seems like every time I get on this Zoom, I'm always, it's different almost every time. And so I'm having a boomer moment where I can't, um, yeah, I don't, God, wow. And I don't know if here we go, disappear, or I just want to share my screen is all I want to do. Oh, here we go. Boom, I figured it out. Figured it out. Here we go. All right. All right. There we go. Whew. We get figured out one of these days. Okay, so I'm on a website called Single Mom Defined. An article is titled "Stop Treating Your Son Like Your Husband," and I'll put that link in the description box at the bottom of the video. I'm gonna go over it here real quick and talk about son husbands. And the article starts off, ever since I was a small child, my oldest son has been a little gentleman trying to care for me He always opened doors, offered to assist with whatever tasks were occupying my attention, and checked my emotions if he sensed even a hint of anything other than happiness. That sounds like an emotional tampon to me. Um, so one day I asked him, and this is coming from a single mom's this is a single mom. She's talking about her experience. One day I asked him to watch his brothers while I took a call in another room for roughly 30 minutes. I came back to hear him yelling at his little brothers to clean up their mess before he had to spank them. What? I quickly informed him that he could not talk to his brothers like that, shocked by the fact that he was trying to parent and exert his power at the age of 10. Guys, this is what again, guys, this is what happens when men are forced out of their homes in divorce, and when the child custody arrangement comes down and the support payments are calculated. This is what happens. This is kind of falls in line of instead of equal parenting time, it's more along the lines of most guys, in my case included, are getting maybe 15% a month parenting time, which is equivalent to the every other weekend dad we see. And so when sons are forced to live with mom or court ordered, well, I'll just say forced and or court ordered to live at home, mom has full custody of the kids. So they live most of the time with her. This woman acts like, well, I don't know what's going on. But the truth is she created the environment by the environment that's being created due to divorce and child custody arrangements. And so another thing that Dr. Farrell talks about in his book is a father's dime is worth more than a father's time. And what he's essentially saying there is women would rather have the dad's money than allowing dad more time with the kids. So when you think about that one, when the default, like Nebraska doesn't do 50-50 default. They the courts give moms full custody and dad gets every other weekend, and then he is ordered to pay child support to that mother. And so when you factor in the economics of it, and like I said, I've done a video on child support. If you want to watch that video, you're sure more than welcome to. I kind of talk about the economics of child support because what's interesting about that is yeah, you pay child support, but then you're also expected to pay like half of the expenses of that kid, and that's never made sense to me. And so when you look at that, my dime is more important than my time with my kids. She's getting, and child support essentially removes the father from the parenting role. And that's all it does. The more she wants, the less availability he has, because now when he's got the kids, he now has to pay for their food and shelter and stuff like that when they're with him, all while he's also sending her money. And so it's a fucked up system. But anyways, let's not stay off track here. Let's get back on track. But essentially, what this creates is it creates a son-husband paradigm where now dad's been removed from the home, the divorce is final, child custody is set, and the support payments are coming in. The new normal now is a single mom household, which is not good for anybody involved. I mean, it's not even good for me. I mean, because I got to deal with some of the blowback that happens out there from time to time. So, um, but here we go. Again, we talk about society. Uh, Society conditions compel young boys to care for their single mothers and children naturally, and they naturally want to please us. When one member of the family is absent, another one steps into their place. And that I just mentioned this, guys. In this instance, it's usually the dads. When dads are forced out of their home, this is what happens. And it's usually the eldest son that has to step up and take that place of the father or husband. However, when we blur the lines of a parent-child relationship and accept a role reversal, it can create an unhealthy dependence. How many times have you heard someone say things like, take care of your mom, you're the man of the house? I said that before, you're the man of the house, or I said something, you're in charge, or something I've even said far more than I realized, you're in charge. I said those two things before. The reality is no, you are not in charge. I am. You are not a mini man, and we are not equals. You are not my partner or my friend. You are my son. But more often than not, this gets blurred where you are a companion, you are kind of a husband to your mom, and it's I know we can sit there and look at that, oh, that's disgusting, that's gross, but really, it's not what it made out to be. There's no romantic or intimate relationship going on there. It's just that now that single mom relies on her oldest son to take care of things around, like, fix the leaking sink, take out the trash, mow the grass, change oil in my car, do this, do that. And he essentially takes the role of fulfilling the honeydew list. And it's not his responsibility. But yet a lot of boys are in that role. And you, as a young man or even an older man, if you were to think back, oh, shit, I think I was probably a son husband. And that also, guys, that affects your relationship with women moving forward. When you become subservient to your mother, you think your role will be to that with every woman you encounter in your life. A lot of your relationships are going to fail because you will take on that more of a subservient role. If she tells you to jump, you're going to ask how high. Okay. Um, Here are the signs. Some signs that your son may be taking on responsibilities of a partner. You talk to your son about financial issues. You rely on your son for emotional support. That's a big one. You become, as a boy, you become your mother's emotional tampon, emotional support tampon. You allow your son to tell you what he is going to do. Your son forgoes plans with his friends to be with you. Yep. Your son mediates conflicts between you and their father. Yeah, that happens. I think I've kind of experienced that myself here with some of the conflicts we've had. You confide in your son about your romantic relationships. Yep. When you want to bring in that new guy into the home, you talk to your boy. Oh, he's such a nice guy. I really like him. I think he's going to be a good fit for the family home now. Your son takes on financial responsibilities for you or your home. Your son asks questions about where you're going and what you are doing. As kind of, yeah, again, that's taking on the man of the house. Hey, mom, where are you going? What are you doing? When are you going to be home? Kind of deal. Kind of acts like a grown ass man trying to lay down the law with a wife or a girlfriend. Hey, what are you doing? Where are you going? When are you going to be home? And so yeah, that's pretty much the end of that article. But yeah, I just want to touch base on son husbands. I kind of see that a lot in young boys anymore. It's sad when you think about it. These guys are, like I said, single mom homes are essentially beta male factories, and this is one thing that makes that so. When that boy has to take on the role of a husband or a father figure, um, he learns pretty quick that he subservient to his mom. So any relationship with a woman moving forward, when he grows up, he gets out on his own. He is a weaker man. He is very likely, I mean, in almost all instances, to be very beta, to be a simp, because the way he was conditioned, the way he was brought up to be submissive to a woman. So he was submissive to his mom. His mom asked him, "Oh, I'll do it. Take out the garbage." Yes, mom. Uh, Feed the dog. Yes, mom. Um, Even when it comes down to talking about finances or becoming an emotional tampon for your mom, that makes you less and less of a man, and it makes you less and less masculine moving forward. So then you, as that son husband, now you grow up, you're on your own, you're struggling to to date, you're struggling with intimate relationships with women because the way you was raised by your mom is the way you believe you should interact with every woman moving forward. You haven't been able to untie that knot from son husband to a man because you were never given those instructions. So, but with that said, guys, that's all I got today. Think about, especially if you're a young boy watching this video, ask yourself. I will put this article, I'll link it in the description box when I'm done. You guys can read it and determine if your situation with your single mom falls into these categories, and maybe reevaluate and go back and watch some of my earlier videos about what it takes to be a man, what you got to do moving forward, and how you could potentially get yourself out of your son husband situation while you're still growing up. So that's all I got today, guys. Have a good day. Let me stop sharing this. enjoy the rest of your day. The weather's getting nicer here, so it's going to be a good day to do a lot of things outdoors. So catch you on next one. Toodles.